Lamentations of Round Oak Waters. Oppressed with grief a double share, where round oak waters flow, I took one day a sitting there, recounting many a woe. My naked seat without a shade did cold and bleely shine, which fate was more agreeable made at sympathizing mine. The wind between the north and east blowed very chill and cold, or coldly blowed to me at least. My clothes were thin and old. The grass all dropping wet with dew, low bent their tiny spears. The lowly daisy bended too, more lowly with my tears. For whom my wretched state appears, hurt, friendless, poor and starved, I never can withhold my tears, to think how I am salved. To think how moneyed men delight, more cutting than the storm, to make a sport and prove their might, o'er me a fellow worm. With arms reclined upon my knee, in melancholy form, I bowed my head to misery, and yielded to the storm. And there I fancied, uncontrolled, my sorrows as they flew, unnoticed as the waters rolled, were all unnoticed too. But soon I found I was deceived, for wakened by my woes, the naked stream of shade bereaved, in grievous murmurs rose. Ah, luckless youth, to sorrow born, shunned son of poverty, the world's made gamely sport and scorn, and grinning infamy. Unequalled though thy sorrows seem, and great indeed they are, O hear my sorrows, for my stream, you'll find an equal there. I am the genius of the brook, and like to thee I moan, by naiads and by all forsook, unheeded and alone. Distress and sorrow quickly proves the friend sincere and true. Soon as our happiness removes, pretenders bid adieu. Here I have been for many a year, and how my brook has been, how pleasures lately flourished here, thyself has often seen. The willows waving with the wind, and here and there a thorn, did please thy melancholy mind, and did my banks adorn. And here the shepherd with his sheep, and with his lovely maid, together where these waters creep, in loitering dalliance played. And here the cowboy loath to sit, and plait his rushy thongs, and dabble in the fancied pit, and chase the minnow throngs. And when thou didst thy horses tend, or drive the ploughman's team, thy mind did naturally bend towards my pleasing stream. And different pleasures filled thy breast, and different thy employ, and different feelings thou possessed from any other boy. The sports which they so dearly loved, thou couldst not bear to see, and joys which they as joys approved, ne'er seemed as joys to thee. The joy was thine, couldst thou but steal from all their gambols rude, in some lone thicket to conceal thyself in solitude. There didst thou joy and love to sit, the briars and brakes among, to exercise thy infant wit in fancied tale or song. And there the insect and the flower would court thy curious eye, to muse in wonder on that power which dwells above the sky. But now, alas, my charms are done, for shepherds and for thee. The cowboy with his green is gone, and every bush and tree. Dire nakedness o'er all prevails, you fallows barren ground, is all beset with posts and rails, and turned upside down. The gently curving darksome balks that stripped the cornfields o'er, and proved the shepherd's daily walks now prove his walks no more. The ploughers had them underhand, and overturned them all, and now along the elting land poor swains are forced to maul. And where yon furlong meets the lawn, to ploughmen oh how sweet, when they had their long furrow drawn, its eddings to their feet, to rest 'em while they clean their plough, and light their loaded shoe. But there's never an edding now, for neither them nor you. The balks and eddings are no more, the pastures too are gone, the greens, the meadows and the moors are all cut up and drawn. There's scarce a greensward spot remains, and scarce a single tree, all naked are thy native plains, and yet they're dear to thee. But oh, my brook, my injured brook, 'tis that I most deplore, to think how once it used to look, how it must look no more. And haply fate thy wanderings bent, to sorrow here with mine, for to none else could I lament, and mourn to none but thee. Thou art the whole of musing swains that's now residing here, the one erewhile did grace my plains, and he to thee was dear. Dear he was, for now I see his name grieves thee at heart. Thy silence speaks that misery which language can't impart. O till, dear should thou to this fond mourner be, by being so much troubled now from just a naming thee. Nay, I as well as he am grieved, for I hoped of thee. Hadst thou stayed as I believed, thou wouldst have grieved for me. But he's gone, the first of swains, and left us both to moan, and thou art all that now remains, with feelings like his own. So while the thoughtless passes by, of sense and feelings void, thine be the fancy painting eye, of bygone scenes employed. Look backward on the days of yore, upon my injured brook, in fancy con its beauties how it had used to look. Oh, then what trees my banks did crown, what willows flourished here, hard as the axe that cut them down, the senseless wretches were. But sweating slaves I do not blame, those slaves by wealth decreed. No, I should hurt their homeless name, to brand them with the deed. Although their aching hands did wield the axe that gave the blow, yet 'twas not them that owned the field, nor planned its overthrow. No, the foes that hurt my field hurt those poor moilers too, and thy own bosom knows and feels enough to prove it true. And oh, poor souls, they may complain, but their complaining's all, the injured worms that turn again, but turn again to fall. Their foes and mine are lawless foes, and laws themselves they hold, which clipped-wing justice can't oppose, but forced yields to gold. These are the foes of mine and me, these all our ruin planned, although they never felled a tree or took a tool in hand. Cruel foes, with plenty blessed, so hankering after more, to lay the greens and pastures waste which profited before. Poor greedy souls, what would they have beyond their plenty given? Will riches keep 'em from the grave, or by them rest in heaven?